Hi, come on in. Come on. You know where you are. Get on in here. Grab a seat. We got some talking to do today. This is not a product video, but yes, it's a TEMU video. This is tips and tricks part 10. Viewers' questions answered. This is your top 10 questions that y'all been coming at me with, either by email or by comments, or just by things that you kind of mention in your comments that I can tell you have a question about. So we're going to do a countdown. We're going to start with the question that is not as frequently asked and lead all the way up to the question that OMG, I get swamped with. So we're going to cover a lot of topics. I do want to remind you that I have tips and tricks 1 through 9 that will guide you through a lot of your questions. And yes, there has been quite a few changes with TEMU in the year since they hit the ground and really started. It's been a little over a year, almost a year and a half now. So we have some catching up to do. We got some splaining to do, Lucy. So, for those of you that have been here before, thank you for coming back. And for those of you that are new, down below, you will find my link, which if you use that link, a couple things are going to happen. Number one, you're going to help my channel grow. Number two, as a thank you, Temu is going to give you 30% off your first order when you type in this code, AFC 95851. And when you use that link, you're also going to get a $100 coupon bundle. And we're going to be talking about coupons a little bit today, too, because that is a common question everybody has. If you're watching this on TV, just scan this QR code and it'll do the same thing as if you had clicked on the link and typed in my code. All right, are you ready? We're going to start with number 10. And I hope you have a beverage. I brought one. This is going to be long. It's going to probably be at least an hour. Okay. I may have to pause for the cause just to give my my voice a break. Okay. So the number 10 most asked question, and I'm paraphrasing because these questions have come in all different formats. So I'm just kind of summarizing each question. All right. So number 10 is, why are my refunds lower than what I paid for my item? Um, I'm surprised I don't get that question more often. Here's what happens, and I'll give you an example. It's happened to me. It's happened to hundreds of other people. You do your order, and let's say you purchase an item, just for grins and giggles, I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to say $5. That item, all right, is part of a bigger order. Obviously, you're not going to order just one thing. I don't know anybody in Temu that orders just one thing. So when your order goes to subtotal, a couple things happen. If you have any credits, Temu will apply the credits, and a certain percentage of the credits gets equally dispersed among the items. Then if you have any coupons, which are a rare beast these days, but we'll talk about that separately, then the coupons get applied. So this reduces the cost of your total order. But what it does in essence is that it actually reduces the individual prices that you're paying per certain items. All right. So I guess that part hopefully kind of makes sense to you. So when you have a return, and I had a viewer give me an example, they had purchased a clock and the clock was not keeping accurate time. And I don't know if it was a wind-up clock or it was a battery-operated clock. If it's a battery-operated clock, you just change the batteries because obviously the batteries are not functioning right. But for whatever reason, the clock, even if it was electric, it wasn't keeping proper time. And this viewer wanted to do a return. But what they paid and what they were going to get refund was, let's say, if they had paid $5, they were only going to get 60-cent refund. Why only 60 cents? Again, it comes down to what credits, what coupons were applied to the order. Now, here's the part we don't like and we can't do anything about. Trust me, I've tried, even to the point of taking it to the Better Business Bureau. What they will do is whatever credits you first had applied to the order. They will take the majority of those credits and subtract them from the item that you want refunded. In other words, they'll collect the credits back and they'll give you a part of a difference. Most times, fortunately, they don't always do that, but what it will come down to is primarily the use of a coupon and credits. Everything gets prorated down to a new individual value. I know on orders, and you've heard me say before, that I've paid zero for these gigantic orders, and because I used credits. But when I had refunds on some of them, I didn't get any credits back, and I didn't get any refunds back because technically, as far as TEMU was concerned, I didn't pay, even though those credits came from something I did pay for. So their policy is a little skewed, and unfortunately, it's their policy, and they can handle it as they wish. Now, the other thing that comes into play with this is the refund guidelines that are in the contract of the seller of that item. It's not TEMU. TEMU does not decide whether an item can be returned or not. TEMU has contracts with all these different vendors that present the products for us. So if a vendor says, yeah, we'll do a return, but we'll do a return of 10% of the purchase value. If that's in that vendor's contract, then that's what TEMU has to do. So I can buy a $5 item, but if that vendor's return policy says they will only pay such and such for an item, if it's returned, then TEMU can't do anything about it. And unfortunately, we can try to contact the vendors, because if you go into the item, it'll always tell you who the vendor is, and you can click on that and communicate directly with the vendor. You're beating your head up against a brick wall. Trust me, I have tried. You all know how much I advocate to get things done and to be fair about things. But these prices that they give us when they want to do returns, TEMU's not making that decision. The seller. TEMU's just the middleman. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? It's the seller. Now, some sellers will say, great, you got a defective item for me? You get 100% refund. I'm going to keep you happy. Other vendors are going to say, no, I'm not taking the loss. It might have been damaged in shipping. It might have been fine when it first went out. Something happened to it. Maybe it got damaged when customs opened the package and inspected it. So they, unfortunately, are not as, shall we say, user friendly, right? So hopefully that explains to you why we don't always get back what we paid for on an item. You can protest it by all means. Don't let me tell you not to do that. I've done it. I've gone into customer service and I have right off the bat just requested an escalation that a ticket be opened up and disputed the fact that, I look at the order. Okay, this is how much credit I have. These are how many items that I had. And I wanted to know how much went towards each item. What was the new value of each item? And trust me, I'm very analytical when it comes to stuff like that. So I will spell things out for them, almost like doing a little spreadsheet. It's like, I want my money, and I want you to tell me why you're not giving to me. I want an explanation. I have a liaison that I deal with at TEMU simply because I'm part of their influencer program. So I get a little bit more information than the common Jane Doe or John Doe might be able to get. Anyone who knows my channel knows that I will always go to bat for the shopper, not for TEMU. I will tell you how it is. So this is how it is. If you do want to dispute it, customer service, escalate, ask for a ticket to be opened. Make sure you give reasons. You look at your order, take responsibility. Look at your order, look at how much coupon was used and how much credit was used. Take that amount, divide that up over all your items, see how it breaks them down. All right. Or based on the total of one item, a certain percentage will go to a higher priced item and a lower percentage will go to a lower priced item. So look at what you've actually got. All right. And then present all that to TEMU. And unfortunately, whatever their final decision is on an escalate, the only other thing that you can do, as I said, is take it up with the vendor. But be nice. Be sweet. All right. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. You get, what's that old saying? You get a lot more flies with sugar than you do with vinegar. All right. So try to be sweet, stay sweet about it. Try, I know it's hard. Try to leave the emotions out of it, but you got to take it for what it is. All right. You're going to get risks when it comes to shopping at Temu, and you're going to get things that don't work. And if you're not happy with the refund, you can take it or leave it. It's totally your choice. But hopefully now you maybe see a little bit better where Temu was coming from. And I know it's not the answer you guys were hoping for, but there's no guarantees. I'm just going to lay it out for you, and you got to figure out which way you're going to go with it. All right. Okay. Item number 9, or question number 9, comes down to, how can I reduce my minimum order in order to still get free shipping? So y'all know this has happened to me. My minimum purchase used to be $10 in order to get free shipping. And then all of a sudden they doubled it and it went up to 20. And I know I'm not the only person that happened to. There were a lot of people out there that were complaining to me and complaining to Temu, and holy cow. I mean, literally, I'm talking hundreds of emails and comments and things that I got. So I know Temu was getting fired with them as well. Now, the only thing that you can do, that anybody can do, is complain. Back when I was growing up, we called it protesting. When something wasn't done right, or when something was going against us, or we felt something was unfair, we were protests. We were marching against them. You have to protest with Temu. If they don't hear your voice, they're going to keep doing what they've been doing. All right. And the rest of the consumers that don't say anything, they go, oh, well, I spend this much anyway, so why not? They don't realize that also ties into supply and demand. If Temu is demanding you spend more to get free shipping, some people are going to spend more. They're not going to go, wait a minute, that's not right. Well, it's not right. So I complained directly to customer service. And when, of course, I get this little blurb that says, well, we encourage everybody to spend more. I said, no, you're not encouraging, you're demanding. There's a big difference. Encouraging would be, are you able to spend a little bit more so that we can still give you free shipping? Or perhaps maybe we can compensate you with an extra coupon or extra credits. If you do spend a little bit more to keep shop, that's encouraging. Them saying you have to spend a certain amount to get free shipping, that's not encouraging. That's demanding. That's a requirement. It's a necessity. Pick an acronym. It's something you got to do. And I said, you know what? No. So here's what you do. This is what's worked for me. And I've heard from many, many, many people that it also worked for them. I immediately stopped shopping. I told customer service, I said, okay, I'm done. I am not going to shop. I can't afford it. My budget does not allow me to do a $20 order, every single time I want something. I cannot necessarily find it in my budget at that time to spend your minimum of $20. And their catch was, it had to be $20 after credits and coupons. So you couldn't spend $20 and let your credits and coupons bring it down to 10 or 9 or less, because then they say you didn't spend enough, it has to be 20. Well, I took that to the Better Business Bureau, and that got nipped in the bud right away. That's stopped, at least from everybody that I heard from, and from the response I got from the Better Business Bureau. They stopped because that was basically illegal. It was bait and switch, where there was nothing stating that it was after credits and coupons that you had to spend $20. It simply said minimum order $20, not minimum payment of $20. So they had to stop that because they had broken the law. So they stopped that. Then I complained again. I said, you know what? I'm not shopping Temu anymore. Not going to do it. I'm done. I didn't order anything for 2, almost 3 weeks. A lot of other people followed my lead. Matter of fact, several thousand people followed that lead, and all of a sudden just stopped buying. Then I waited and I went back to Temu and I made a dummy cart. I just threw a whole bunch of stuff in there adding up to like, I don't know, $6, $7 worth of stuff. Then comes a little pop-up that says, minimum purchase $10 required for free shipping. Oh, they dropped it back to $10. Go figure. Not. Protesting, speaking up makes a difference. Many people have spoken up, and TEMU has different guidelines that they use for every person. Because I'm in their influencer program, they expect me to spend at least $10 in order to get items, right? But for some people, based on their ordering history, how much they spend, their location, all the logistics, all the different algorithms that trigger different things, some people have actually been able to get their minimum order completely waived. In other words, if they want to buy something for 59 cents or 69 cents or only spend $2.99, they still get free shipping. You do that by asking. You go to customer service, you text with customer service, you chat with them, all right? And you let them know where you're standing, that whatever your situation is, then you ask for it to be reduced. You can, again, ask to get a ticket, ask to get it escalated, and bring it up and say, hey, look, you're forcing me to shop and spend this much money, but you're not offering me an alternative. And this is one of the things that I did go to the Better Business Bureau about. They don't want to offer anybody, except for express customers who want to pay that ridiculous $30 or $40 to get an express order sent out. That's the only other shipping option. They don't want to give anybody the option of paying ourselves for shipping. Like every other country, I deal with China and the Philippines to get the materials that I need for my jewelry business to make my jewelry. They give me options. I have like 12 different options of how do I want to ship it. 1-day air, 2-day air, 3-day air, 7 days, free, whatever, UPS, FedEx. I mean, literally a whole column of choices. I can choose how much time I want to allow to get my package and what I want to spend to get my package. TEMU does not offer anything like that. I am still on their case, constantly pressing them, constantly going through Better Business Bureau, Attorney General's office, etc., for fair business practices, because right now their business practices are considered unfair. They don't offer options. What company that conducts business in the United States or Canada or the UK, in these bigger countries, what company doesn't offer shipping options? Just TEMU so far that I've found. So again, you have to speak up in order to get that reduction in your minimum order. And for those of you who have already done it, kudos. I am so proud of you for finding your voice and speaking up. I love having a family of protesters because that's what gets things done. TEMU's entitled to be paid, right? TEMU's entitled to get some sort of compensation for shipping. I would never deny that to them, right? But I draw the line from my budget as to how much I'm willing to spend. And that's what each of us have to do. You all have to draw the line for your budget. Is it worth it you spending? Well, were you going to spend $20 or $30 anyway? Then obviously that's not a problem for you. But for other people, retirees such as myself, people on limited income, people in areas where getting shipping stuff shipped to, one of my favorite viewers, Dawn, hi, is in Hawaii. And unfortunately, everything to ship to Hawaii costs. So it's very difficult for anyone in her situation to reduce or eliminate that shipping cost. But considering how expensive it can be to ship to certain places, it can be worth it. So you have to decide what is best for you. And do you want to protest to customer service in order to ask for a reduction or a complete waiver elimination of your minimum order? Okay? Give me a second. I need a drink. All right. Number 8, we're counting down. Number 8th question. What happened to my coupons or my coupon bundle? Now, I'm surprised at how many people actually ask this question. So let's start with the coupon bundle first. If you're new and you were awarded that $100 coupon bundle, or if you're not new, if you've been a TEMU shopper and you click on that wheel and it gives you a bundle of coupons, and maybe you win a coupon bundle as an existing shopper, any coupons that you're gifted, you're given, you're awarded, whatever, however you get them, they all go into your account under my coupons. And I'll put a little thing up here so that you can see it. Now, once you get your coupons, you go in there, you're going to see all your coupons listed. You are not going to see a bundle where it says $100. Because what happens is when it goes into your coupons, it breaks it down into the individual values. In other words, it might be a coupon for $15 off. It might be a coupon for $20 off. It might be a coupon for $30 off. However they want to break it down to add up to that 100, you're going to see a bunch of coupons. Bundle, broken down. All right. So your $100 coupons are not missing because it's not one coupon. And I think a lot of viewers, when they've messaged me, the way they've worded their messages is they'll say, where's my $100 coupon? Singular. Or what happened to the coupon bundle that I won? So it breaks down. It's really the easiest way to explain it. I'm trying not to sneeze because I'm sitting outside, as you could tell, and the wind is blowing and my hair is still wet. Yeah, this is my own hair. It's attached. It's looking all right this morning. So anyway, that's the part about the bundle. Now, individual coupons I did cover in one of my previous tips and tricks, so I'm just going to summarize and go over this briefly again. When you're giving coupons, in other words, if you spend so much, they might say, oh, well, spend $40 and we'll give you a coupon for this or coupon for that for future use. They go into your coupons again, but they all have expiration dates on them. So if it says, oh, $8 off of 40 and it's good for 25 days, you get to use it once. Just like a coupon, if you're going into the grocery store, you hand in the coupon's gone. You don't get to use it again. All right. So even though it has many days before it might expire, you can't keep using it all the time. So that's the first thing. Each coupon is only good for one order and then it's considered used. It's done. Now, if your coupons expire, customer service has been pretty nasty at times in saying that, oh, well, you should have used it before it expired. Well, okay, I didn't have the funds to use it before it expired. My budget doesn't work that way. Your coupons don't run when I actually have cash in hand or for whatever reason. All right. Or maybe I was traveling, I was away on vacation, it expired while I was away, I didn't get to use it. Could you please reinstate it? It all depends on the rep you get. Some of these reps will say, oh, gee, I'm sorry. Okay, let me see what I can do. And, is there what they look at? They look at your cart. Do you have stuff in your cart? Are you ready to buy? I have found that to be true for myself and for other people that have communicated to me. If you have items in your cart and you're communicating then with customer service about getting a coupon reinstated or issued, you're more likely to get a better coupon because they can see, oh, well, she's ready to spend. She's got $42 worth of stuff sitting in her cart. Let's make sure she shops. We're going to give her a nice coupon. Trust me, that's exactly what they do. Trial and error. Okay. That's what happens. You'll see it. Now, the coupons typically that you'll see are ridiculous. 50 cents off of $40. 60 cents off of $90, $1.20 off of $100. Are you kidding me? That's not a coupon. Ignore those because if you're a savvy shopper, you can save a heck of a lot more than that. Don't waste your time with those coupons because if you use them, guess what? That's what they're going to continue to give you. You use those Piddly coupons, you're going to continue to get Piddly coupons. So what do? All right. Now, your coupons typically won't get reinstated anymore. They've really tightened their belt. So what you're going to do is you're going to contact customer service. And instead of saying, oh, I didn't get this coupon or expire, whatever, simply say, what coupons are available for me at this time? I have an order over $40 and I'd like to know if there's any coupons you can provide me with. Again, you got to stay sweet, stay nice, collect those flies, right? 9 times out of 10, they'll give you a better coupon. They'll say, okay, well, I can give you $8 off of $40. Now that's a lot better than 50 cents off of $40, right? And all you had to do was ask. So coupons are going to come and go. They're going to expire if you don't use them. They're not going to come back and be reinstated simply because you ask for it. It's a case-by-case basis. You all know now what happens when you get a bundle, how to find those items. You do have to watch your expiration dates. And TEMU warns you. They give you little pop-ups that you have coupons about to expire. So make sure if you're shopping, go in before you shop and look at your coupons. What do you have in there that has any real value that you can use? And if there's nothing with real value, fill your cart as though you had no coupons, get the stuff in there ready to check out, and then go ask customer service what they have available they can give you to help you with this order. All right, you'll be surprised. So that I think that covers coupons pretty thoroughly. If you have a really funky situation, it's still going to come back to those basic things. It's either expired, cannot be reissued, or it's already been used. It cannot be reissued, or you're going to ask and they'll issue you whatever they can. And I have found that when I ask for what they have available, they usually throw 3 or 4 more coupons at me and not just one. They'll throw me a bunch to choose from, and they're always much better than those piddly little penny type ones. Okay? All right. Can we go on to number 7 now? We're good? You can ask questions below, as many as you want. I don't care. I will answer. You know I answer your comments, and I will answer those questions if you need further clarification on what we've done so far. Okay, so that's 10, 9, 8. Number 7. TEMU is putting items in my cart, and I'm having a problem removing them. Been there, done that. If this hasn't happened to you yet, it will. So here's the first thing. Look at the item that they put in your cart. Always check your cart before you check out. Look at every single item and the quantities to make sure it's exactly what you wanted. If something pops up in your cart that you didn't expect, click on the link to that item. More than likely, what will happen is that at one point in time, you subscribed to notification because it was out of stock. And now all of a sudden it's back in stock. So because you subscribed, or you had that in your cart at one point and then it went out of stock, even though you hadn't subscribed, you had put it in your cart, boom, it's out of stock. They drop it out of your list. And even without you subscribing, they throw it back in your cart because they knew you had it and they thought you intended to buy it. They're sneaky that way. Okay. It's their algorithms. So when you click on the link, you can see whether or not you are subscribed to the item. If you're subscribed to the item, it'll say subscribed. You just click on unsubscribed, and that takes you off the list of potential buyers. So you do that first. Then go back to your order, uncheck it from your order. Don't try to delete it, uncheck it. And then hit refresh on your browser and refresh that screen. Make sure that item stays unchecked after you refresh. If it does, great, you're in good shape. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over to the plus and minus, where it hopefully only shows 1. And you're going to hit the minus sign, which will zero it out. That will then give you that pop-up that asks you to confirm that you want to remove that from your cart. You're going to make sure you confirm, yes, you want it out of your cart. It should delete it immediately. All right. It should be gone. I mean, then you hit that yes and your order pops back up again. That item shouldn't be there. If it is, hit refresh. Now, if it's still in your cart, as long as it's unchecked, it will not be included when you check out. All right. You'll only be paying for the items that have those check marks over in the far left column. So you can go ahead and check out, even though it's still in your cart. When you check out, before you hit that final submit button, it lets you see the items you're checking out. So take a look, make sure it's not there, then submit your order and check out. So now the only thing left in your cart should be that item that you wanted to remove. At this point, I tell everybody, you're going to wait a few hours because TEMU's system is wonky. And it may have registered that you wanted to remove that item from your cart, but it didn't somehow complete that removal. So wait a few hours, go back into your cart. If it's still there, just do the minus again, make sure it doesn't show up. If it shows up, then hit the little trash can. There's a little trash can up in the upper right-hand corner of every item. Click that trash can. You should again get that pop-up to remove it, and you confirm you want it removed. Then it should go. It should leave your cart. Now, later on in the day or the next morning, whenever you go back online, look at TEMU, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to look at your cart and make sure it's still empty, that item is gone. That should work for you. Most of the time when it stays in there, it's because you're subscribed to it, or you had it in your cart at one point and it went out of stock without you actually removing it from your cart. TEMU removed it. So TEMU will keep throwing it back in until you physically complete that removal process. Okay. It may take a couple of tries to get it out of there, but it will leave. It will get out of there. I promise it'll go. Okay. So try all that. If that doesn't work, then your only alternative, very simply, is to communicate with customer service saying, hey, I've been trying to get this thing out of my cart. It won't go away. Can you please manually remove it? And they can. Don't let them tell you they can't. They can go in and clear your cart and make sure that item's not in there anymore. Okay? And when you do that, just say, hey, thank you. Have a great day. And go on about with your next shopping. All right. That was number 7. Number 6. Why are there less price adjustments than before? Yeah, that's a loaded question, but we're going to go over this. All right. Price adjustments are not from TEMU. Price adjustments are from the sellers. And I do talk about this in one of my previous tips and tricks, that it's the seller who determines whether or not they're going to give you a price adjustment. If you purchase an item for $5 and they drop the price by 3 cents, it's up to the seller and the seller's contract with TEMU, where TEMU knows, oh, okay, they dropped the price, so we can do a price adjustment for everybody who bought this item for the 3 cents. Or for a portion of the 3 cents. The sellers may say, well, gee, I don't want to give them the whole, I'll give them like 50% of what I dropped the price because they already bought it. So either way, you'll get a price adjustment of some point. Now, if you're not getting as many price adjustments as before, there's usually 2 reasons behind it. One is that you've already gotten the lowest price for that item from that seller. You may find that item someplace else, some other seller, cheaper, but wouldn't you have bought it from them cheaper? Wouldn't you have done the savvy thing that I taught you in Tips and Tricks Part 1 about how to be a savvy shopper and find the same identical item from different vendors at a lower price, right? I know you all doing this, so I shouldn't have to say this. So they will give you your price adjustment. But if you're already at the lowest price, great, yay, hooray. You're not going to get a price adjustment because The vendor is selling at that price. He doesn't need to lower the price. Vendors typically lower prices when an item is not selling in the quantity that they want it to. So they drop the price to try to sell more, right? Supply and demand. But if you're not getting a price adjustment on certain items, you're good to go. You know, rest easy. You've already got that bottom price. Now, other vendors don't give price adjustments at all. Some vendors simply just say, no, if I drop the price, too bad. They've already bought it, they paid for it. I'm not going to give them a discount. That's their choice because it's their product. It's warm out here and I should have put my hair up, but I'm okay. So that's why I'm fussing with it, because like I don't have a lot of hair, but it's still hot. Okay. So hopefully you kind of get my drift. It's not that there aren't more. It's just that you're not seeing more because you've shopped smarter. Now, overall, is there as many as there used to be? No, because the initial contracts, and I found this out by contacting a couple of different vendors, their initial contacts or contracts with TEMU were for 1 year, for the first year. So they all gave TEMU, they said, yeah, we'll help you get streamlined and get on board, and we'll cut prices and we'll do this and we'll do that, the things that TEMU asked them if they would do. And they did. Well, that year ended in September. Now they're all under more official, established contracts where their prices are changing, which I know you all have seen that. Some prices have gone up on things, which is to be expected. And other prices are steady. Some have actually gone down. There's a lot more items that I come across that are being discontinued. It's not that they're not for sale anymore. It's strictly that that particular vendor doesn't want to sell that item anymore, or maybe is out of stock on that item, and they don't want to meet the requirements the TEMU has for its vendors. So price adjustments are all tied to the entire contract. If you shop more, then yes, you'll see more price adjustments simply because of the quantity of items that you're buying. You're likely to hit on something that has a price adjustment. I don't get a lot of price adjustments anymore. It's not because of what I'm shopping. It's because I've just gotten what I like to feel very efficient in finding the lowest price item for the cost. Today I have on my boho tube top dress that I showed you. And I got this, I think it was $4 or $5. It wasn't a lot. But I saw another vendor with the same item for $9 and $10. So I'm not surprised that I didn't get price adjustment on it because I got it for such a low price. So keep that in mind, that you may not see a lot. You become a savvy shopper, you save, instead of getting pennies on a price adjustment, you're probably saving a lot more than what any price adjustment could give you. Right? It is what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It's just, I know it adds up. And on larger price items, it can add up. But shop smarter, not harder. Spend less to get the exact same item by following my tips and tricks on how to hunt and pack and find things. And it doesn't take any longer. It's actually kind of fun saying, oh, can I find this from somebody else cheaper and beat out that guy with the high prices? Because I am not going to pay into supply and demand and allow these vendors. I'm not going to be part of allowing these vendors to raise their prices simply because they can get the prices. I'm one of those people who say, no, you ain't getting that out of me. I'm going to buy it someplace else. Like shopping from a car. Are you going to buy the same identical car for $60,000 over here when you can get it for $42,000 over there? And it's the same identical car with the same identical things? No, you're not. Because if it's a GM and a GM, guess what? It doesn't matter who the dealer is. You can service it anywhere you want to get the best service. So it's not like you're paying to service it at that place and you're paying so much more for it. Team was the same thing, just on a much smaller scale. All right, here we go. We are down to number 5. Why can't I have a choice to get my refunds or my credits for returns sent back to my bank or as credits. In other words, why don't I have a choice where that money goes? A couple of things you have to look at. First off, what was your payment source? Did you pay with credits? Did you pay using a coupon? Did you pay using a prepaid bank card? In other words, a prepaid debit card or a prepaid credit card that actually isn't tied to a bank or a line of credit. Some places, whatever your payment source is, some of the guidelines that TEMU has requires that your credits or your refunds automatically go back to your bank account, period. That's if you have a regular credit card on file or a bank card on file, they may require it has to go back there, or a certain dollar amount has to go in a certain direction. TEMU has no rhyme or reason. It's proprietary. They decide what they want to do. I had to fight because I could not get my refunds sent back to my bank. I had no choice. For me, they were sending everything over as credits. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't use credits to pay for this. I don't want credits. I want a refund sent back to my payment source. Well, I had to work with my bank because my bank was allowing, of course, me to use the card to make a payment to TEMU, but they were not allowing TEMU to send money back. They didn't, for what reason, they didn't want to give that reverse. And I had to give certain permissions to my bank to allow them to do that. And you have to contact your bank and find out because each one is different. Once I had on file that credits could come in from TEMU being applied to my bank account, then I was able to do that for certain refunds. And now I get the choice of both. When it comes to price adjustments, however, 99.9% of the time, the only choice you'll get on a price adjustment is for it to go back to TEMU for credits because you earn that price adjustment by shopping at TEMU. They're going to give you that price adjustment back so you could continue to shop at TEMU. That's their thinking. That's their choice. And unfortunately, because there's nothing that can mandate how they do that, we're stuck. Right. But a couple of things you can do. Go into your account. All right. Go into your account tree, check your profile, make sure all your information is correct. Make sure that when your address, let's say, for example, you live in Kansas City, Missouri. So when you look at your street address, it says Kansas City, Missouri, zip code. Make sure after the zip code, it actually says United States. Those words need to be there, right? Because I find this is happening to a lot of US customers where they are not able to have their credits or their refunds. They're not able to get a choice. And many times it's because China doesn't always know, their system doesn't always know that Kansas City is in the United States. So if it has a conflict, it kind of locks up and doesn't do anything. Oh, hold on a second. For some odd reason, my computer was ringing my phone. I just shut it off. So you got to go in and check your settings. Make sure, go into your payment methods and make sure again that your card that you want used is in there or your payment source. If you have multiple payment sources in there, that may be another reason that it gets in the way of it going back to your payment source. Because it just, depending on which card you use for which order, it's supposed to send it back to the card that you used, but it doesn't always. TEMU's not really organized yet, even after almost 18 months. They're still just don't have it down pat. So to get your choice, go again to customer service. Keep it simple. How do I get my refunds applied to TEMU credits? Or in the other case, how do I get my refunds returned to my payment source? Be very specific with your wording because that's, again, we've talked about it. They type in those couple of words And if you don't use their terminology, you're not going to get an answer. So you either want refunds to go to your TEMU credits or refunds to be returned to your payment source. They typically will tell you exactly what you have to do, but most times they'll say, well, we can't do that for you. And you have to press them as to why. If they can't give you an answer, again, keep it simple. Open a ticket, please. Escalate. That's all you're going to ask them. Please open a ticket and escalate this. And don't argue with them because, again, you're going to go crazy if you try to argue with them. They're not the ones. You have to wait till you get to the next level up where you'll get email communication. You have to be specific. Again, be prepared with the order information. Here's the order. Here is the payment method that you used. Were there credits used? Were there coupons used to reduce this? But what was the actual payment source? Was it 100% paid by credits, or did part of it go on to a card of some source that's not related to TEMU? So make sure you present that information when you get the email from the escalation team. All right. So that's what you can do. You have to check your addresses, make sure it says United States, check your payment options, check your restrictions. Okay. There's preferences on your account where you can restrict access to this, that, and the other thing. Make sure you have certain things checked. Go in and do that. That's all in your tree. When you go into your account and you have that tree, all those options are down in that tree. So I encourage you to really look at that very, very, very closely. All right, let's get to number 4. Hold on, I need another drink. Okay. Number 4 and number 3 are closely related. So we're going to start with question number 4, the fourth top popular question. What do I do when my order has missing items? Happens to all of us from time to time, right? Okay. The first thing you're going to want to do is you are going to lay out your package, label up, put the items that you got around it, okay, and take a picture so that everything that was in that bag and the bag are all in this picture. I tell everybody, just either set it on the floor so you can get the whole picture in, put it on the tabletop, depending on how many items. Make sure every item is visible. These are what I received, right? Now, you're not going to go into your order. I tell everybody repeatedly, if you need to get a refund, do not click on the order itself. You're going to go in 10 circles. You need to take the direct route. Go up to the top of the main page of TEMU, and I'm going to put the little picture up here so you can see it. On the right-hand side, you'll see that little face that has headset on it. See that? Right next to your initials and your flag. You're going to click on that little headset and drop down's going to come down. You're going to click on chat because that's what you want to do. You want to chat with a representative. All right. In the chat, you're simply going to say missing items. Got to keep it simple. The bot is going to most likely connect you with a live rep. If they don't, the bot will just ask you some simple questions first. Pick an order, and it will put up a whole bunch of orders that were recently delivered. Then you pick the order for the bot. Do not do this other than going in these steps. All right. Don't just go into your orders and pick the order and blah blah. No. All right. I'm trying to save you a lot of heartache. Okay. So select the order when the bot gives you the option, and then select what's missing from the order. Click the ones that are missing from the order. The bot will do one of two things. They'll say, oh, I'm so sorry this item was missing. I can give you a refund or I can give you credits. How do you want to handle this? That happens about 50% of the time. So that's the easy peasy part. If you have multiple items missing, they're more than likely going to send you to a live rep. Now, make sure that when you checked your order, go into your accounts and check your delivered orders. Look at that order and make sure it has not been divided up into multiple packages. Sometimes they have to do that. All right. And it's for It's like at the post office, if you have something flat, flammable or explosive or whatever, they have to separate it out. Anything that has a chemical in it has to be separated out. So they may have split it into two different bags. And if they did, are your missing items in that other bag? Or are they in neither bag? If you've already gotten both bags delivered, are they in neither bag? So make sure you know that when you're talking to customer service. So now let's say that you're connected to the customer service rep. The bot has already given the customer service rep what you checked off as to be missing. And your only thing you're going to do is say, hey, I took a picture of the package and all the items that came with it to show you proof that I did not receive it. Right? Now, let me forewarn you right off the bat. They're going to say, oh, well, let me check with the warehouse. They don't check with the warehouse. Who are they kidding? They never check. They'll say, oh, well, the warehouse says they packed it. That is not proof. Just them saying that they packed it. Because you know what? They don't have a way to contact the warehouse. I already know this for a fact. Okay. They don't have a way to contact the warehouse. So that's just a standard blurb they're going to put out there. And you can tell them, hey, I know you did not contact the warehouse. I want a refund for these items. I did not receive them. You need to prove to me, show me a picture of them being packed, because here's my picture of what you actually sent me. Well, they won't be able to do that. So they'll escalate it and create a ticket. All right. And if they don't offer to do that, you're going to insist that they do that. Right. That you want it escalated. You want your items refunded. They did not arrive. Now, you also need to keep in mind, once items do leave the warehouse, TEMU is no longer responsible for them. It's in the hands of the courier. So most of these items, 99.9% of these items are coming from overseas and they have to go through customs. The packages get opened. They all get opened. Customs goes through almost every single package that there is. If they scan it, X-ray scan it, and they see something that looks suspicious, they're going to open your package. There's no guarantee that all your stuff is going to get back in the package after they get done with it. But because TEMU guarantees delivery of your product or you get refunded, they have to refund you. So you have to go through the escalation process. Make sure you present your picture. Here's the bag. I just opened it. It just got delivered today. All right. They can see in their system it just got delivered today. This is the size of the bag. This is the amount of the items in it. Nothing more would fit in this bag. So where are my missing items? Did they fall out of and you let them know, hey, I don't care if it fell out of customs. I don't care if it, if the guy stuffing the bag missed the bag and the item hit the floor. No matter what, I didn't get this item and I want my money back for this item. Don't take no for an answer. They will refund you. You just have to be stubborn enough, for lack of a better term, right, to not give up and just say, F it. Because if you do that, then they know other people are going to do that and they're going to get away with it. So again, passive aggressiveness, right? Okay. This also ties into question number 3 is, what do I do when my order is missing items? But when my order is missing, the whole order is missing, but TEMU says it was delivered. So now we've gone from question number 4 with just a few items or 1 or 2 or whatever items missing from an order. Now everybody's asking, well, what do I do if my whole order is missing? But TEMU says, sorry, it was delivered. Again, TEMU is not responsible for delivering your package. They hand it off to the courier, goes through customs, comes in an airplane flight, goes through another inspection. Then it goes onto a truck or a plane to be shipped to wherever it's going to go. Your packages are handled an enormous amount of times before they get to us, right? They're just, it's crazy. So again, don't beat your head on the wall. Make sure you talk to TEMU. All right. They say it was delivered. You say, can you please confirm the tracking number and the address on the label? That's the first thing you want to get from them. Have them confirm the full tracking number and have them confirm the address. And don't say, oh, it's the address you have on file. No. What address do you have on file? Put it in writing. Tell them you want to see. Show me the address. What address did you actually put on that label? And what is the tracking number on that label? Make sure that matches the order in your account. When you go into it and you bring up the orders, it'll give you the tracking number. It'll show you your address. Make sure it's a 100% match, because if that tracking number is off by so much as one digit, it's not going to get to you. Once you get that information from TEMU, you're just going to politely say thank you and get out of the conversation. You're then going to go to the courier, and your order will always tell you who's the courier. Is it the post office? Is it UPS? Is it FedEx? Is it willy-nilly? Whomever it is. You're going to contact the courier by phone, not by email. Your email is never going to get seen, or it's not going to get seen timely. So you're always going to find the phone number for the courier. Obviously, we all know how to Google that, right? And you're going to get a live person on the phone, no matter what it takes. I don't care how many buttons you have to push. Listen carefully to the prompts, all the prompts, before you select one. And it'll say, like, if you're missing a package, do you need to track a package? Do you need to trace the package? That's the option that you want. So when you get the person on the phone, you can say very politely, I was just told from the company that I purchased that my package was delivered. However, it was not. I've checked with my neighbors. They don't have it. It is nowhere on my property, nowhere to be seen. It was not delivered to me. I need to put a trace on this package. That's the word you want to use. Not track the package. Track is when a package is in motion. Trace is when a package is lost. So you're going to tell them, you want to put a trace on this package. You have the tracking number. This is the address associated with that tracking number per TEMU, the company it's coming from. Well, the first thing the courier is going to do, or should do, is they're going to put that tracking number into their system, and it will populate the address that they show goes with that tracking number. So that's what you want to ask them. Does that tracking number reflect the exact address I gave you? Now, when my orders have been missing, I was told, no, it's not even close, not even in the same city, same state. So TEMU had given the wrong tracking number on the package. So either the label had the wrong tracking number or the label had the wrong address. But either way, it's a mismatch. So the post office or whomever it is will say, well, okay, let them guide you. They'll tell you what you need to do next and say, well, that tracking number is supposed to come to my house. What do I do? And they will guide you. When they supply you with all the information, they may say, no, that tracking number was associated with a label stating such and such. Then you have your ammunition. You go back to TEMU, and I always tell whoever the courier is I'm talking to, I always ask them, could you please put that information in an email to me so that I have a document that I can refer to and have for my records? And they always will. They'll send it out to you in email. Then you go back to TEMU and you say, hey, I contacted the courier and the courier has confirmed that you gave me the wrong tracking number. This tracking number belongs to Joe Smith at such and such an address. That's not my package. Where's my package? They then have to do an investigation to find out, okay, if that tracking number didn't belong to you, what tracking number does belong to you? And where is your package? They have 30 days. If your package doesn't show up, they have 30 days to give you a full refund. So now you've proven to them that the package was not delivered to you because the tracking number had a different address on it. So that trace is important. And TEMU cannot trace an item that is still actively out in the system. You have to always contact the courier. Courier didn't lose the package in this case. All right. The courier delivered it to where it was addressed. So they didn't do anything wrong. And for all we know, those items in that package might have belonged to that person. We cannot go hunting down that person. We cannot hound somebody else simply because our tracking number is their tracking number. That's seriously against the law. We just can't do that. All right. The postal service or whoever the courier is, they will guide you, and you kind of have to let them do that. Now, if they say, oh yeah, it's got your exact address on it, and it's got the tracking number does have your name and your exact address on it, there's no differences, then you say, okay, I want proof it was delivered. Who delivered it? Where was it left? Give me a picture of where it was left. Who's the name of the delivery person? I want proof that it was left on my property, that was either put in my mailbox, or that it was put on my porch. I don't want you to just say, he says that's where it was delivered. I want proof of where it was delivered, because it was not. I don't have it. It wasn't here. Nobody has it. I've already checked with my neighbors. You tell me it's my address. I didn't get it. What other houses in my street or what other houses in my neighborhood did they make deliveries at? And I tell them, I want you to go back and check every single house looking for that misdelivered package, because I want my items back. It's happened. It's actually happened where it did get misdelivered by the post office, and the postal carrier did remember that on that day, he had 4 or 5 TEMU deliveries at houses in the neighborhood. And he went back to those houses the next day on his run and says, hey, did I misdeliver a package to you that belongs? And sure enough, there was my package. And the person who had gotten it had opened it and then realized the items in there are not what they ordered. They looked, they saw the name, but did they walk it down the street to me? No. They just had it sitting in their foyer and handed it over to the postal worker when he came to get it. So yeah. TEMU has limitations as to what they can do, but we have to be the investigators. So contact the courier, confirm the address and the tracking number match, and that they both are yours. Ask for a trace, not a track. Get the information from the courier in writing so that you can go back to TEMU and say, here's verification of your mistake on the label. Usually if you do that, the one time that happened to me, TEMU gave me an immediate refund. Refunded the entire order. And that order, it's happened to me more than once, unfortunately. And one of the orders did not ever surface. So I waited like 60 days and then I reordered all this stuff. It was not an urgency. So that's what you can do with that. All right. Number 2, need another drink. Hold on. It's getting seriously warm out here and I should have put my hair up, but that's all right. I just get it off my back. I'll be a little bit better. You can see my tan stripes. I've been out working in the yard. I feel like I have a farmer's tan. I have a watch band tan. This stripe. Oh, I took my watch off. Anyway, okay. Question number 2, the second most asked question. And we're almost already over a little over an hour. So sorry, guys, but you wanted to know. Question number 2, TEMU refuses to let me do a refund without return. Why? Boy, do I get that question a lot. All right. I'm going to try to keep this simple. Refund without return is not guaranteed. It is a privilege. It is a courtesy that TEMU gives us based on the contracts with the sellers. Again, it's the seller who determines the refund status, return policies that they're willing to accept. And all TEMU does is enact them. All right. TEMU, when you have a certain order, a certain item, TEMU punches in that item and it automatically will show them what the seller terms are for returns, refunds, etc. Now, In some cases, in almost all cases, again, do not go directly into your order to request your refund without return, or your refund, period. You go through that little up there on the top corner, you go through that customer service, click on chat. When you get the bot, you type in simply refund without return. The bot will ask you to pick the order. You pick the order, you pick the item, right? State the reason why you want the refund without a return. In some of the cases, the bot will say, you got to return it, pick your choice of how you want to do it. In other cases, the bot will say, do you want a new after sales process done? You want the new after sales. You don't want a continuing one. You want a new after sales. If the item is damaged, all right, then make sure you choose that as a reader, that it's damaged, it's broken, it does not function. Be careful with the reasons you choose, but be honest about the reasons that you choose. Deception is going to cause us all to lose this courtesy service that they give us. So if the item is broken, 99.9% of the time, you won't have to return it, right? You state that it's broken, it's damaged, it's defective, it doesn't work. I had one shopper tell me that she had bought like $100 espresso machine and the handle was broken on it. And if you ever had one of those, you can't function without that handle as a necessity. The bot gave her a refund without return, regardless of the fact that it was a $100 item. It was broken. And that was how that seller had directed TEMU to handle the refund request on a damaged item. On a damaged item, you also do have to provide a picture. Even the bot will ask you most often to put a picture up. So that's the first thing that you want to do. Now, if it is not a broken item, let's say it's too small, too large, you don't like the material, the color's wrong, you found it someplace else cheaper, you changed your mind. In other words, there's nothing wrong with the item that somebody else might not be able to use it. So if the item is resellable, in other words, if they can get it back, put it back out there into the marketplace and sell it to somebody else because there's nothing technically wrong with it, then 99% of the time you're going to have to return it. It's just the honest thing to do. Refund without return was designed to eliminate handling of defective or broken products so that they don't have to go through the mail system, through the shipping system. Because you got to remember, TEMU has to pay for the shipping it back. When they give you a label, you're not paying for that shipping. That's their dime. So they take into consideration how much is it going to cost to get that item back to them. And if it's damaged, how much is it going to cost them to dispose of it? Is it repairable? How much is it going to cost them to repair it? You see how it kind of makes sense that if it's a damaged item, that they really don't want it back because the costs of getting it back can eat up the value of the item. It's just easier to say, I'm sorry you went through this. Sorry for the inconvenience. Here's your refund. Now, when it's resellable, all they have to worry about is the shipping costs because it gets shipped back to the local warehouse, the closest warehouse, and then it'll go out in a bulk shipment back to wherever it originally came from. So it doesn't go back as one item. It gets to one place. It might take 2 or 3 days to get to one of the local warehouses. And there's one only about 15 miles away from me in Peoria area. So it'll go back to there and then it gets bundled with other stuff that has to get shipped back for distribution. Excuse me. Or it may not even get shipped back. It may go right into the resale bins after it gets inspected to make sure it really is okay. So their cost to get it back is minimal and they can sell it again. So they're going to want it back, right? So that's why you may not be able to get a refund without return on a perfectly good resellable item. Now, I have to say this, and I know some people are really going to take offense to this, but we all have to be honest when we're doing this. We can't get into that lazy mode that, oh God, I don't like this and I can't be bothered taking the post office, even though I'm going out to the grocery store in 3 days or whatever, and I have to run errands. I just can't be bothered to do this. Seriously? Come on. You want something for nothing? That's not fair to them. It's not fair to anyone else, because all that does is jack up the prices at TEMU. If these items don't get returned, the sellers are losing money by giving us a refund without getting it back. That means the sellers have to raise their prices to compensate for that. So if it's a resellable item, then let's do the courteous, integrity-based thing and get it back to them. They've made it so easy for us. We don't even have to leave the house. We take the TEMU bag that it came in. This is what I do. Turn the bag inside out. So all you see is the black bag. Stuff your item in there, and you don't have to wrap it in anything. They don't, right? Stuff it in there, roll up the bag, tape it shut. Just make sure you leave room for a label. Download the label from the TEMU return onto your phone. We all have cell phones now. Download the label. You don't need a printer. And then when you run your errands and you run out to the store the next day or 2-3 days later, swing by the post office or the postal service desk if there is one where you are. Swing by UPS, have them scan your phone. They'll print the label at no cost to you. They'll slap it on the package at no cost to you. Said and done, over, out of your hair. If you can't get out of the house, call UPS. UPS does home pickup. And in some areas, the post office also does home pickup. But I don't know if the post office has the ability to print a label from your phone, right? But if you have a way to print, like I got those little mini printers, it doesn't matter how small that label is. I can print a little on that little mini printer that you saw me haul. And I have the labels. I got the sticky labels. I can slap that little mini label right in the package, put it right out in my mailbox with the flag up, and let them take it away. It didn't cost me nothing to send it. But you can call UPS and have them come to the house and just tell them, I have a package that has to be returned. I don't have a printer, but I do have the label in my phone for you to scan, right? When they're in the neighborhood, usually sometime the same day or the next day, they'll swing by. You just hold your phone up, let them scan it. They have that little machine. Then it just prints out a label. They slap it in the package, say thank you, and off they go. So you don't even have to leave the house. It doesn't get any easier than this. So you have options. My big thing is so that we don't lose the option of doing a refund without return. Be honest about it. Let's all have some good shopper integrity, and let's not screw up what TEMU is doing for us, because I think this is a great benefit. Especially, I have not limited physical mobility, but limited abilities to get out of the house and go certain places and do certain things. And other people do have physical limitations where they can't do this. And this program is designed to really help them, as well as to help the vendors cut costs and keep things affordable for us. So if TEMU says, absolutely not, we are not giving you a refund without return, this is a resellable item, and they're not going to use that word, but if it's resellable. Could somebody else wear it? Would somebody else maybe like it? Just because you don't, it's not damaged, it's not broken, it does work. It's just not for you, whatever reason. Send it back. Give them an opportunity to get it back, to resell it, and to not start jacking up our prices even further. All right. And I'm not accusing anybody of doing this. I don't know if that's what anybody has done or not. All right. But if somebody out there is doing that, then you're cheating all of us out of that benefit. We could lose that benefit down the road if it's, misused, I guess, for a better word. All right. So that's why they will refuse. Resellable needs to go back 99.9% of the time. Broken 99% of the time doesn't. Okay. So the option is still out there. Let's use it with caution and with graciousness and say, thank you, TEMU, for making this available for us as an option. All right. The number one, and I know you guys have been waiting for this. You already know what this question is going to be. The number one asked questions, and I actually counted how many times I've been asked this question. Are you ready for this? 62 times this one question has been asked. And is TEMU Circle worth it? I'm going to give you a straight answer, and then I'm going to tell you why I feel that way. For me, no. It is not worth that. Even, what is it, $9.99 for 3 months or something like that. So that $3.33 a month, nope, that's not worth it to me. That doesn't, to be worth it to me, it has to save me more than $3.33 a month. And it doesn't even come close. I can save more than that simply by how I shop. So I'm going to break each section of the TEMU Circle down for you, and so that you can decide for yourself, all right? Because this is a personal decision. People have asked me if I recommend it. Okay. Number one, it's only available on the mobile app. If you have the mobile app, or if you have like a notebook or an iOS system, sometimes you can get it on those, but on a regular laptop or computer or desktop, it's not available in desktop form. So it is a mobile app, which, number one, I don't shop on my phone. I don't use my phone for shopping. So that's why it would not work for me. Some people live on their phone and they thrive on their phone and they don't use a regular computer for stuff like that. So that might work for you, right? So that's my first drawback for me. Now, there's 5 different sections to TEMU Circle. Well, there's a few more than that, but 5 that really matter. The first one is the credit back program. If you remember initially, TEMU did offer a credit back where you would get 5% back on every purchase, that you could get a free item every time you bought $20 or more worth of stuff, and it didn't cost you a monthly fee. It was available completely for free, and everybody loved it. Everybody was getting credit back. Now the program is, if your order is greater than $100, you can get up to, not exactly, but up to 10% credit back. So in other words, you'll get $10 off 100. Easy math, right? Okay. Their second level of that is that if your order is greater than, not $50, but greater than $50, and that's the key. It can't just be an even $100 or even 50. It has to be greater. You've got to add that penny in there, every penny, right, for TEMU. If it's $50 or greater, you get up to 5% off. So that's $2.50 off, right, of a $50 order. Doesn't that sound like a lousy coupon? Seriously. That sounds like a poor, I can't say the word, absolutely poor coupon. And then all other orders that are $50 or under get 2% credit back. 2%. Think about that. You have a $10 order, 2% back. Is it worth that 20 cents? Seriously? That's another lousy coupon. So you can save more than what this credit back offers simply by being a smarter shopper. Price comparison, like I taught you, I think, in the very first tips and tricks I ever did, tips and tricks part 1. You have to be a comparative shopper. You see something you like, you don't automatically click on it. You look at the description of that item, you put that description in the search bar, and you see how many of the exact same items come up. You price from low to high. You find the one at the lowest price. And I guarantee you, you're going to be saving more than 10% off of $100. So as far as the credit back goes, no. It's not worth it. Think about it. $10 off of 100. Now, if you're spending $100, you're either getting some seriously big items or a whole bunch of little ones. And I pretty much can confirm that if you shop around, there are more than one vendor selling the exact same thing at TEMU. We've all seen it. We all know there's multiples of the same thing out there by different vendors at different prices. You can your $10 without having to pay out a monthly fee to TEMU. Okay? Now, that's the first part, credit back. So for me, that's a no-no because that credit back isn't saving me anything I couldn't save simply by shopping better, shopping more savvy. Part two, free items. 2 per order. Now, it's 2 per orders that are greater than $20, right? And the 2 items that you get are only worth a couple of bucks because it's selected items you have to pick from. You don't get to just go in and say, oh, I want this is my free one, that is my free one. No, they give you a list. Pick from these. And if you look at them, they're all cheap stuff. And most of them are things you've already bought. I could not help but laugh when I looked in there and I saw that almost everything that they were offering me as a free item was something I already had and something I paid less than $2 for. So why? Again, a free item? Okay, what's the value of the free item? Is it $2? Well, guess what? I can shop savvy, save more than $2 and just pay for that. I save more than $2 on the other items in my order and just buy that item. I don't need to pay $3.33 for something that I can get without having to pay twice for? You pay for the membership and then you pay for the items? That doesn't make any sense to me. All right. So that's the second no-no for me. The third area of TEMU Circle is, and I had to laugh on this one, coupons. Okay. Now, here's their coupons, and they think these are great coupons. And I had to laugh. $2 off a $40 order. Seriously? $4 off a $70 order. That's not a coupon. A coupon would be $8 or $15 off of 40, or $25 or $30 off of 70, or 40 off of 100. Those are coupons. These, that's a joke. Seriously, I mean, do they really think that a lot of people, smart people, are going to fall for that? $2 off of 40? Go shopping. Compare prices. You want to save $2? Compare your prices and buy the cheaper items. Do this just once. And I'm going to tell everybody what I did. And that's all it took was once to convince me. I found an item. I wrote down what I found it for, the most expensive price. Then I searched and found the same and I wrote down the bottom price, the lowest price. I did that with every single item that was in my cart to make sure I had the lowest price item. And then I looked at the differences. I subtracted the low one from the high one. I got the difference on every one. And in one order alone, I had saved myself $18. They don't offer an $18 coupon. My shopping saved me more than their little coupon. And I don't want to hear anybody say, well, I don't have time to do the comparison. Seriously? Sort high to low when you find the item. That's it. It's right there in your face. It's so easy to save it. Now, the other thing is those coupons they give you, and here's the catch most people didn't notice. They're only good for 72 hours from the date you claim them. So when they issue you that coupon or you click on claim that coupon, you only have 72 hours. It's 3 days to spend money and use that coupon or you lose that coupon. Seriously, why bother claiming it in the first place? That's just my personal opinion. Okay. Again, it comes down to how we shop. All right. So that's the third one. Now, the fourth one, we only got 2 more things. The fourth one is called Circle Deals. No, these are not deals. All right. Circle deals are being certain products that they're showing you at a certain price. You can get this for this price, and this for this price, and this for this price. Guess what? You can get those same items cheaper from a different vendor. I did a comparison. Again, I joined TEMU Circle for 1 month so I could do this and figure this out for everybody and for myself. Every item that they offered me that I was interested in, which was quite a few, I found cheaper doing a regular search and finding a vendor that sold the exact same item. Did I purchase anything through the Circle deals? Nothing. Not one item. But I have a bag sitting in my living room right now with 22 items in it that were in the Circle deals, but I found all 22 of them cheaper from other vendors. So no, the Circle deals are not deals. They make you think they are simply because they're part of that Circle program. They're not deals. If you're currently in the Circle, check it out yourself. Just pick one item. Take the description of that item, pop it in the regular search bar on the main page, get out of TEMU Circle, pop it in the regular search bar, see how many of them come up, sort price high to low, and you, hand to God, you will find it cheaper someplace else, or at the very least, at the same price by another vendor. So those deals are not, my experience, are not really deals. Your experience may be different, but then again, I don't know if you've comparison shopped or not. So I can't say what you're seeing because I'm not sitting there shopping with you. If I could, I would, trust me, because I love shopping, but I'm a bargain shopper. And the last thing about TEMU Circle is what they call Circle Day. Circle Day is the 15th of every month. Hold on. There's a beautiful breeze out here today, but it's drying me out. Okay. On the 15th of the month, you get an extra 10% off selected products. And that's the key word, selected products. You don't get extra 10% off on anything that they offer. You have to go into their list of selected products to pick what you want to get 10% off. Seriously? Now, their algorithms, according to what I saw and what a couple of people have reported to me, the algorithms show them things that they had looked at one point, but not purchased. So it's going off of that. It's going off of your browsing history, so to speak, what you've been searching for. And it's going to offer you 10% off the items. But it's off of selected products. And it doesn't say how many products you get the 10% off. It was my experience that I only got 10% off of one product. Well, I looked at the one product that I said, okay, well, I would like to get 10% off of this. And it was and I'll tell you what it was because I have it coming, but I'll finish telling you. It was a set of skirts. In other words, the skirts that have the shorts built underneath them. I love the skirts in the summertime. Very comfortable, right? Perfect for everything. So the set of skirts was going to give me 10% off. The set of skirts was $18 and change. So 10% off would have been $1.80. Let's just say $2 off. So it would have come down to about 15 and change or $16. I went into the regular search bar for a 3-pack of skirts. I found the same identical items, the same 3 colors. All right. Navy blue, black, and gray, solid colors, the exact same 3 for $9.99 by another vendor. That's like 70% less, okay, than what the Circle Day 15th was offering me. So the Circle Day 15th, the extra 10% off that one item, again, it comes down to where it is still cheaper than the discount they're offering you. So what they do is they compile all these 5 things and say, we're going to give you this, 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 and this. People don't realize that you can already get all that without paying $3 and some odd cents a month and just spending a couple more minutes browsing and shopping and really paying attention to prices. You'd be amazed at how much you can save. Not only will you save that $3.33 a month, but you'll save a lot more than the 10% back or the 5% back or the 10% off. And the coupons, forget it. just by shopping smart, you can save a lot more than $2 off of 40 bucks. Or you can go to customer service and say, what coupons are available? Do you have $8 off of 40 or 15 off of 40? Give them an example. Do you have anything along the lines or anything like this? Excuse me. So you can save. So for TEMU Circle, is it worth it? Not for me. And I know for most of my shoppers and most of my viewers, it's not for them either. Because just because of the way that you've communicated with me, the things you do and the things you know how to do and the way you already shop, if you're somebody that doesn't care, maybe you have a lot of credits every month. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay. Ugh. Crazy tickle in the throat. So if you have, you can pay for a TEMU Circle from your credits. You can pay the $3.33 a month using your TEMU credits. It doesn't have to be from a card. I prefer to let my credits accumulate, and maybe some months I might only have $3 or so worth of credits. I need to use them on something better than paying for something that's not going to make it worth my while. TEMU Circle doesn't offer anything that we don't already get or already have the ability to get without paying TEMU for it. We pay for the products. That's enough, right? Okay. Those are your top 10 questions. Hopefully I've answered all of them. I know I just can't believe how many people had asked me about TEMU Circle. But if you have a scenario that it didn't cover, if you have additional questions or you need something clarified a little bit more, I know this has been a little long-winded. This is an hour and a half video. I'm so sorry. I just wanted to make sure that I covered everything. I am going to be setting up a playlist, excuse me, just for my TEMU tips and tricks, so that'll be easier for you guys to go through. Please keep in mind, look at the dates that the tips and the tricks were initially released, because a lot of things have changed since like 1, 2, and 3 were put out quite a long time ago. And there have been some modifications, but for the majority, everything still holds true. I do give you updates when I get them. I'm sorry I took an hour and a half of your time for this. Hopefully it helped answer all your questions. I want to thank you all for watching and for coming back or being new to my channel. If you haven't already, please make sure you give me a big thumbs up. And I'll let Mom know that you gave me a thumbs up. She's not here for this one today. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, remember, subscription is free. It just basically means you're going to follow the channel, and the notification bell will let you know anytime I put up a video or anytime I put up a comment. And of course, don't forget to share. Send this out so that everybody can have their questions answered. If they haven't seen this and you've been communicating with somebody and you know they're having issues, send it out. Let them see this as well. So again, thank you for stopping by. Remember to stay hydrated. Above all else, please stay sweet. And I will catch you in a few days with Mama and another TEMU haul.